Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dashboard Dialogues podcast. It's a beautiful Friday here in Colorado, and as usual, I'm your host, Sam Flecker. Today, I'm joined by Devon Peterson, our VP of Dealer Services here at Dealerslink, and a OG in the Dealerslink office, as we like to say. He's been with the company for quite a time, and he has a lot of stories and experiences to share with us today. Devon, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you, Sam?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Well, let's get into it, I guess.
All right. Let's rock
As
and roll.
usual, will you tell us about your first car?
Certainly. This is a story I always like to tell. I have my first car was a 1979 GMC Sierra Long Bed. It was my dad bought it brand new from the dealership.
Wow.
And it was our old, it was the beater truck, right? It was something that we just would drive around as as we had. But then when I turned 16, my dad had it completely repainted. We rebuilt the engine.
Yeah.
Redid the entire inside and everything like that. And I drove it around. And it's one of those, it's that big old truck that you always saw, right?
Yeah.
And
I love it.
It was really fun. We had we used to do stupid stuff in it all the time, man. We would, high school, driving around with 15 people in the back, all those stupid things that we did in the 90s.
Yeah, I've been there. Unfortunately.
So much fun. Wish I still had it, actually. I
you still have it?
I know, I wish.
Oh, you wish? Yeah.
Because that'd be awesome.
That would be pretty cool. All right, Devon, do you mind telling us a bit about your role here at Dealerslink then?
Certainly. Right now, as a VP of Dealer Services, my role is anything that has to do with our customers. So that right now includes our support staff and our training staff. So I run those two teams right now, but it's one of those ones where I've, in addition to that, I have many other roles inside the company right now. As everyone is, not everyone, but as people have seen around here, that there's the person who knows everything in every company, and that happens to be me at this time. So whenever something needs something on the technology side, is there. That's part of my roles. And then one of the other roles that I have here is I've recently been working much more with the development team. Yeah. So I help project manage a lot of the new innovations, a lot of the new features that we are developing every day to help our customers out. And that's something that I'm really, really just getting my feet wet in and working on that. So
very cool. Well, you're kind of on the forefront of the innovation kind of portion of our business, it seems like. So do you mind telling us, how has the role of tech changed since you've kind of been in the industry, joined Dealerslink? I mean, you've been in the automotive industry for quite some time, been with Dealerslink for close to 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. So you've definitely seen a lot of the role of technology changing a lot. So, if you wouldn't mind just touching a bit on how that has changed.
It's so funny. So I started in the car business in 2006. Wow. So I was in the dealership before I came here to Dealerslink. Yeah. So, and I came in right at that time where the dealership was just starting the technical revolution, right?
Definitely.
Websites were just becoming in, and cars.com, Auto Trader were just getting their start. Yeah. And so it was that odd time where we were starting to have that bridge between the old school dealer and what it is now. Sure. So that was one of the big things actually when I was actually brought into the car dealership. That was kind of one of my first roles, was to understand the technology, make sure that that we had the dealership had the tools and had the
liaison kind of
the roadmap,
technological liaison.
It was setting up the roadmap to say this is where we're going and to do that. Very cool. So. But that's when, my used car manager still had this NADA book in his back pocket. He would just pull it out and look and go, well, I think it's worth that much, or whatever. And that's how that really worked. But, since then till now, the technology in the dealership has changed dramatically. There isn't a single aspect, whether it's sales, service, F&I, frick stops, however it is, it doesn't make a difference. There's some sort of new technology, new software program, however it is, that has only made the dealership get better and better. Sure. And it's really just mind blowing when I look back at what the old dealerships used to be and what it is now.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, technology in all fields is just changing at such a rapid rate, and every year there's something different, and everything every year has to be one upped, So, especially with automotive, so it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, and the nice thing about it, especially with the technology in the automobile industry, is that at this point in time, it's full adoption already. It's already been fully adopted, and everybody now, and the dealerships who did not adopt are no longer operating as dealers.
Yeah, can't be left in the dust.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the big things now is that we've got dealers now who are looking for not just what technology is going to help me, but which technology is best.
Yeah.
How can there might be 15 companies that do the same thing, but which one does it best? Which one's going to help my dealership the most?
Yeah.
And that's what's really exciting about this time in the car business and the technology world, is that with all that innovation, everything that's going on there's hundreds and hundreds of companies. You go to NADA and you sit in that NADA hall, and it's just vendors as far as the eye can see. It's just
yeah.
And it's all about who's got the best, who can help the dealer do their job the best, which one can give the most ROI. All those kinds of things. That's what this whole industry is about, is how do we best help the dealer.
Definitely. Cool. Well, along those lines, what are some of the current trends that you're seeing that you see kind of taking off within the next 4 years, be it within technology, innovation, just kind of some current trends that you're seeing?
Well, the big thing, obviously, with COVID and everything like that is now the digital retailing, right?
Yeah.
No longer do you have to go into the dealership to buy a car.
Yeah.
Carvana changed that. Vroom, all those online-only companies have done that. And the other dealerships, everyone else has had to adapt to compete in that space. So I only see the digital aspects of the retailing, of being able to sell vehicles directly to a customer, whether it's with them either coming in for just the paperwork or sending the paperwork or doing it all online. However that's going to go, that's only going to continue because that's what our customers are going to demand.
Sure.
That's number one. Number two is going to be the change in the new cars, right? We've had this chip shortage that we've all been talked about for years, or this last year, and foresee it going on for the next year or two, who knows. But that's really limited the amount of vehicles that are on dealerships' lots.
Yeah, definitely.
And so what that's really going to change is that's going to make dealers and consumers much more oriented to an order process, I feel.
Yeah.
Where if you want a new F-150, instead of going down and having to pick from 45 on the lot, all you'll do is you'll sit down at a desk with a person or online on your computer, and you'll just say, I want this F-150 in this color with these 7 options and that, and I'll get it shipped to me in 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Who knows what the manufacturing times are going to be on that.
That's true.
But I think this slowdown has really started to train consumers, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference what it is, whether it's furniture or whatever, right?
Yeah.
To know that if you want something big, you're going to order it and you're going to get it.
And the consumers kind of are in a more power, I'd say. Would you agree?
Certainly.
More power than in the past, so they could be picky.
Yeah, and they can be, and right now it's consumers know what they want.
Yeah.
Right. If you're going to go buy a vehicle and you say I want a blue car with a sunroof, you go to a dealership and they might be able to talk you into something there, but that's getting fewer and fewer, right?
They've got options.
They can go to another vehicle. They can find out through cars.com, Car Guru. They can go to the dealership or to the internet and find a dealership that has the car that they want.
Yeah.
So when you're looking about on the new side, being able to do that on a manufacturer side, it's going to be a huge change for that. A lot less vehicles on the lot.
Yeah.
For dealers. And the other thing that's going to change is that's really going to change the incentive game, right?
Definitely.
Right now, or previously when a manufacturer, let's just keep using Ford for example here, had hundreds of thousands of F-150s across the board, they would have to throw out a $7,000 incentive or 0% for 72 and 3,000 or who knows. And we all know how crazy that got, right?
Definitely.
You needed an advanced degree in mathematics to figure out what your car was going to cost you.
Yeah.
So, I think with the ways now with where that's going, I think the incentives and how it's going to be very simplified, which is good for everybody. It's good for the consumer. It's good for the dealership. It's good for the manufacturer.
Yeah.
So hopefully that continues, and I think those are going to be two of the big things that are going to go for new cars.
Cool. Yeah, very interesting. So going off of that, there's been anyone in the automotive industry knows there's been a ton of chatter lately about kind of electric vehicles. Are they taking over? Are they kind of a myth? What's really like? Are they really the future, or is it kind of overplayed? What's your opinion on that? Do you see them taking over the industry within the next few years?
Oh yeah,
you just got one yourself, correct?
I did.
Right.
I cool. Just I've had it a month. I got 1,000 miles on it.
Wow.
So,
very cool.
I love it. By the way, so it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But as far as electric vehicles overall, I mean, the industry is just telling you that's where they're going. I mean, they just announced that Ford's investing like $25 billion. VW is investing all this money. Toyota's investing all this money.
Yeah.
It's not
a arms race kind of,
Yeah, it is. It's really one of those things where it's who's going to be able to get the best value electric car to market the quickest is really what. So, I mean, Tesla's been doing this forever, right?
Of course.
But, I mean, there's not a lot of people in this world who can afford a $65,000, $75,000, $85,000 electric car.
Yeah, that's
right?
a big part of it for sure.
So, once you get an electric car down into that $35,000, $40,000 range, which is about the average price of any new car right now, you go out there and I'm not sure exactly what the exact number is, but it's north of $35,000 is what the average price of a new car on a dealer's lot is right now. So you get a very reliable electric car that's got that 200 to 300 mile range in it.
Yeah.
And it's going to go. I really think that it's really good for everybody. I really like it. Like I said, my electric car is, like I said, I've had 1,000 miles. Can I name drop? I have a Volkswagen ID4.
Awesome.
And it's their new SUV. And one of the big things that I really enjoy about it is that they didn't just take a Volkswagen Tiguan or one of their existing SUVs and just put some batteries in it and make it electric, and then it looks like the same as everything else. They designed this car to be in its own electric car.
I mean, they're cars of the future in every sense of the term, So.
Certainly, and it's like just like everyone says, it's like a rolling computer, but it's just like it's like your mobile cell phone, right? It's got, you can download its apps and you can do all the fun stuff with it, man. And on that. And like I said, I really think that's the way that the future is going. Our consumers are going to demand that they have a good car that's got lots of high technology, and then also the fact that it is an electric vehicle to do that. So it cost me about $17 a month for the electricity to drive 1,000 miles a month.
Not bad.
When
I spend about triple that on gas every week.
Yes, exactly. So once the infrastructure gets set for that, and with charging stations and home chargers, and now you go look for a new home. Like one of the first options on there is, do you want an electric car charger in the garage? And you're like, okay, well, I can just check that box and get it done. So it's really going that way, and I'm excited for the future of the electric car industry.
Likewise. Flying cars, they're coming.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I like it.
So you're involved with a lot of our feature updates and new features here at Dealerslink. What are some of the new features that you're most excited about, either this year or upcoming within the next few years?
There's so many to talk about that this could be a long segment.
No problem.
But all right. First off, some of the most recent ones that we've come out is we're really working on our group stuff. We have a lot of groups who utilize our software, and there's also been a number of mergers recently, and it seems to be that's a lot of the way that the industry is going. That the 3-store chain is becoming a 6-store chain, the 6-store chain is becoming a 10-store chain, and so forth and so forth. So we're really working on that. One of the big things that we just launched actually in the last 2 weeks or so was a group trade decision tool. So a vehicle is traded in at one dealership, and now you can utilize the Dealerslink tools to be able to say, where should I place that vehicle within my chain based on the stocking, who's low, who's high in inventory, how fast that vehicle turns at that particular dealership, and how fast that vehicle turns in the markets based on those dealerships. If you got 3 dealerships sitting all together, it's it's a little different. But we got dealerships spread across states and multiple states that really helped there. So I'm really excited about that one. And the other part about that is that's just the start, right?
Yeah, definitely.
This is V1 for us, right?
Just going to grow from there. And more. It's a lot very data driven, if I'm not mistaken. Correct. So
Certainly,
a lot
yeah.
more data points. So very cool.
Yeah, and then the more things that we can add to help the dealer make that decision.
Yeah.
Right. Just give them the data that they need to be able to take a look for themselves and say, I think I want to place this store here.
Yeah.
A lot of the directors and the places in dealerships, they already know where the vehicle needs to go. But now we give them the data to help back it up for them to really say, oh yeah, like I know that this Hyundai Sonata works really well at this location.
Yeah.
They know it. But now we can say, here's the data to help back that up.
Yeah.
And really has it like, here it is. And then also for the newer people who are promoted or the people who are, maybe go from the store level to the corporate level and helping
so
that
it's
out.
kind of teaching them as well.
Certainly.
Them. Very cool.
Give them the opportunity to know that. The other thing that I'm really excited about is all the stuff that we are doing to help the dealers work with their customers, right?
Yeah.
A lot of what Dealerslink does and a lot of what automobile, inventory management is behind the scenes, right? It's making that decision to help with the dealers. It doesn't really go from on the consumer side. So what we've helped the dealer do recently is what we call our trade justification tool.
Okay.
So what we've developed a way to for a dealer when they're presenting an appraisal to a customer to be able to use data points, whether it's market, whether it's vehicle history, whether it's recon, the things that need to be done, where a dealership can sit down with a customer and really help the customer understand why we have to give the appraisal number that we're giving.
Yeah. So the why more so than just the what.
Yeah, I can just, I can sit here and I can just throw a piece of paper down and say, I'm going to give you $14,000 for your car.
Yeah.
And the consumer's going to look at me and be like, why? And then you're going to say, well, it's because I said so. I'm the car dealer. It was $14,000. But now with our tool, with some of the stuff that we have, we're able to have a really nice presentation and teach our dealers how they can talk to their consumers and really understand, especially in this market or in any market, right? Yeah. It's always tough. But
get the trust, building trust a little more.
Certainly.
So let's talk a little bit more about your kind of personal career. What are some of the most valuable things that you've learned from the automotive industry during either your time at Dealerslink or just in general?
Well, I'll just go generally, and
sure.
I was in the dealership for 5 years. I've been here at Dealerslink for 10 years now, so I've got 15 years experience in the automobile industry. But really, what it comes down to, it's the same thing that I talk to other people in other industries and everything like that. The biggest thing that comes down is the people and processes, right? And doing business the right way, right? So that's one of the big things that I've always found that it's easy to do business the right way. You take care of your customers, right? That's the first thing you do is you make sure that everything's about the customers.
Yeah.
And doing that. And the way that you make things about the customers is you have the right people and the right processes, right? So that's one of the big things that I really feel proud about what we've done here at Dealerslink over the years is that we've developed a very curated team of professionals across the industry.
I'd agree.
Yeah, we do. And we got some characters, right? As you've been talking to a bunch of them, right?
Yeah, just a few of them.
Just a few. And hopefully more, right?
Certainly.
But, we get the right people who have that same core value of taking care of the customers. Yeah. And then we get those people, we get them with the right processes, and it seems to resonate very well with our customers. So, for me, it all comes down to doing business the right way and the people and processes to make sure that we take care of our customers. It's really easy.
Very cool. Going off of that, what advice would you have for someone, a younger person perhaps like myself, that was looking to enter the industry or get a foot in the door in the automotive industry?
Well, I would say run first. No, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding.
Run. Okay.
But no, really, the automobile industry is a great industry. I'm not sure the exact stats, but it's somewhere in the range of 1 out of every 6 jobs. Wow. Somewhere in there is somehow tied to the automobile industry, whether it's oil and gas currently, electric in the future, all the suppliers. You got to think all the tire companies, a lot of electronic companies, all those kinds of things. It's a huge part. All the dealerships. I mean, you got to think an average dealership employs 50 to 60 people, in a town. If it's
Well,
a
yeah, I mean,
decent sized dealership, especially on some of these bigger ones, sometimes hundreds,
Yeah.
on there, and they've been large drivers of the community for a long time on there. So it's it's a big industry on there.
Certainly.
But for anybody who wants to get in, first thing I think you got to have a passion for the industry, for not just cars. I mean, having passion for cars helps, right? Loving cars. A lot of us grew up with. I had a Corvette poster on my wall growing up, and those kinds of things. On that. And the other thing is really embracing technology is part of it too, right? Because it's no longer just the automobile industry; it's the automobile and the automobile technology,
The innovation aspect, yeah, definitely.
right? So whether it's you want to go design cars, you want to go work for Ford or Toyota or however that is, or if you're in a position like ours, here as in the vendor space, where having that passion for innovation, for technology, really helps.
Yeah, very cool. I think that's great advice for sure, and it's one of the quickest changing industries. So. Definitely.
Yeah, and it's fun. Like that's the thing. Like
exactly. Yeah.
Being in an industry that has been established as long as the automobile industry has, but is in especially with we talked about the technology revolution of the last 15 years.
Yeah,
that's not slowing down anytime soon. We talked about the electric car transition.
Not slowing down either.
That's only increasing.
Yeah.
So then what's the next part, right? Who's going to be out there, developing the next huge innovation? Are we going to? You mentioned flying cars. Are we going to be flying cars?
Only time could tell.
I don't know. Maybe Sam's flying car factory can be one of the things out there.
Has a great ring to it. Actually.
I like it.
I might maybe quit my job here to pursue that soon.
All right.
So.
I think it's a good idea.
Cool. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time here today, Devon. Do you have any big plans for the holidays?
Going to Mexico, actually.
Very cool.
Much needed vacation. So
awesome. The beach, I assume. So
yeah, and one of those fun all-inclusive spots. Me and the wife are going to really enjoy that. We've actually gone a couple times, and we were supposed to go last year, but of course, no one did anything last year.
Yeah, you can do that again. So
I'm enjoying it. Hopefully it'll be fun. So
cool. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Devon. It was a pleasure having you on the podcast today, and see you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
Enjoy the trip. Yeah. All right. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Dashboard Dialogues podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Music. And be sure to check out all our other episodes and our social media profiles on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.